bereavement group is a supportive therapeutic group for someone who's had a loss. And it can be all sorts of loss, but typically you see bereavement groups for people who have lost someone due to a death. So it could be a close death of a partner, someone in a relationship, it could be parental, it could be loss of a child, a friend, sibling, really, anyone in your life who is meaningful.
I think a bereavement group is a safe space for people to open their heart and to share their pain and to be assured that their pain is okay.
When I think of a group, ideally, I think of people arranged in the form of a circle. And what is the form of a circle? The form of a circle is a symbol of wholeness. It's a symbol of a containing space that can hold things. It can hold difficult and painful emotions.
And I think why group therapy for grief is sort of the gold standard is because people realize that they're not alone.
And that is usually one of the biggest outcomes, is that people come to the group feeling very alone in their loss. And once they come and start to hear other people's experiences, they can relate in a different way. And that relatability allows them to walk away feeling like, I'm not so alone and I have support.
And just the connections that people feel in the group. It's a big pleasure for me as a group facilitator for someone to share about something they're going through and see other people in the group nod or go that they say, okay, wow, boom, there's a connection. Somebody has felt understood. Somebody has felt heard.
Especially if you don't have people in your life today who are willing to be there and listen. And that happens. It happens to all of us at different stages in our lives.
People don't always have a space for our grief. Some people think, hey, if you're not over it after 6 months, you should be. Or, I don't want to come into work and hear you cry. Or, when I ask you how you are, I don't necessarily want to hear about your sadness.
What also happens is that when we pass that kind of public grieving period that others perceive as acceptable, so meaning once we're beyond the traditions of funeral, work leave, there's an expectation that you'll be back to normal. And many of our friends, could be our family members, our coworkers, they don't want to talk about the loss with us. They don't want to engage in the sadness, or they don't know how to handle the emotion.
Because in grief, people have an opportunity to really explore those darker emotions. Emotions that oftentimes, because of the way we were raised, we think aren't good, or that we shouldn't have, like sadness and despair and fear.
When we find that we have that going on in our lives, a bereavement group can really help, because it gives you a place to go on a regular basis to share the thoughts and the feelings that you're having.
A lot of those darker emotions are what grief is all about. It's not only what it's about, and we actually laugh a lot too. So if we ask people to name more than one emotion, oftentimes people will say sadness or despair or I'm tired. But people will also say I laughed or I actually really had a good day. So it's helping people realize that we're complex beings and we can actually hold more than one emotion at a time.
Yeah. Well, I think one of the great pleasures as a group facilitator is getting to witness that moment in a group member's experience where you see something begin to shift in terms of them taking ownership of their loss and taking ownership of their grief and saying, you know, I have the right to feel the way that I'm feeling for as long as I need to feel that way.
When someone joins a bereavement group and comes to a bereavement group, they are coming to a place that they know they're going to be understood, that they're going to be with others who are experiencing what they experience, and that they're going to be accepted no matter how much they're crying or not crying, how angry they are, or how you know, kind of introverted they are with their grief. It doesn't matter how they show up in the group, they'll be accepted.
And so they are able to be heard and supported by others who know where they're coming from.
And one of the things that I believe we learn in that circle is that our grief, the depth and how profound our grief is only a measure of how much we love that person. So, thank you.